What the heck? This is Danny DeHeck, your host. Let me entertain you. Today I thought we'd talk about business networking and how business networking really should work rather than the conventional business networking platform. I've been doing business networking for probably about 8 years. Originally I started, I was quite lonely in business and in my life, and I started going and organising a lot of social events. And I met a guy at a pub, and about a year earlier, and he must have put me on his database, and he rang me up one day and he said, would you be interested in coming along to a business networking event that is happening in Rangiora, which is just outside Christchurch in New Zealand? And I said, oh yeah, okay. So I went along there, and there was about 20 odd people there, and I met a few business people, and I quickly learned that it took quite a bit of time to get to know people, and it was once they took down the sales pitch or their business hat and you got to know them personally that the magic really started happening. So I went along to the business networking group for about a year, and then the company behind it was up for sale. So I negotiated a deal, as you do. The first time ever I actually purchased a company. And when I got this company, it was all set up to be sold as franchises. So how it basically worked, somebody could come along and say, hey Danny, I'd be interested in starting up my own business networking group. And I would say to them, well, we have a franchise system for that, and you can invest money. The more you invest, the more of the monthly fee that we charge our members you would get. I found quickly that most people didn't want to invest, but they did want to build their own business network around their own business, which you think would be quite natural. But the honest truth of it, I found it really hard finding people who would actually go run my business networking for me rather than pushing their own agenda. And that's where the franchise model, I don't feel, would ever work in my industry. So I also received at the time a 47-page manual on how to run a meeting that was an hour long, which seemed absolutely ridiculous. Because I'm dyslexic and I don't read too well, I quickly threw that over my shoulder and got an A4 piece of paper and basically sketched out 4 parts of the meeting, and to this day we still use pretty much that same format. The strength to the business networking company that I bought, and something I've never changed and never would change, is half the meeting we break into groups up to 6, and each person gets an opportunity to talk for 5 minutes each. And if you're going to a business networking event and you're trying to push your business to the people that you're talking to, for 5 minutes, it gets ridiculously hard. So you're forced to get personal, and people basically tell people about their week that has gone, or their highlights in the week, or things they're planning to do. And it actually turns into more of an accountability session. And because each week we shuffle the people around in the room, it takes you a good month or 2 before you really get to know people reasonably well. So if you're thinking about doing business networking and you're looking to take a few shortcuts, don't bother coming, because you've got to have the attitude that you're going to be there for a long time, and then it becomes an integral part of your business. So a wee while ago I got rid of the franchise. Obviously I got rid of the 47-page manual, and I looked at the company and I thought, how can we do this better? Now, at one point Elite 6 did have 14 franchises out there, and I think I had 12 facilitators running the meetings. It was very hard to get the facilitators all on the same page. So we restructured, and when people ran meetings for Elite 6, we'd actually 50-50 share the revenue they would generate from running a meeting, and they didn't need to invest any money, which was awesome, because that means that people had skin in the game. They were more interested in actually running the meetings, and with my hand on heart I could actually say that we pay our facilitators good money to run professional meetings. because the quality of meetings that we were running were just not up to my standards. So an average person, I'll tell you a wee bit about the history of it, would come along and they would basically come for a 3-month trial. And then after that 3 month, if they decided that they wanted to join, the person that referred them would receive a month on us to say thank you. And then when it was set up as a franchise, the master franchisor used to receive 75% of any money that come in for that member. So as the franchise owner, I would probably get about $19 after 3 months. The average lifespan of a member at that time was 3.5 months, because people were coming, getting a taste of it, getting what they want, and then leaving, often to say it didn't really work for them. So the master franchise owner that I had, I said this has got to change, and we changed dramatically. So we removed the franchise, and I offered all the people that run the meetings an independent, to be hired as independent contractors, and they would receive more money. And it's changed the whole dynamics of what business networking is about. So a wee while ago I wrote up an article, and it's on our blog, which I'm going to look at some of the notes. So if you are going to Elite 6 and you're thinking, I want to do some networking and I'd like to give business networking a go, I actually do recommend you go around and have a look at the other business networking groups out there, because I honestly feel with my hand on the heart that we're niche. We're 100% unique. No one is doing the way that we run our meetings the same way. So if you were going to come and visit my business networking family, I would ask you to complete a request and invite form, which is on our website. And from that form, we ask a few questions about what your expectations are when you come along, and whether you're there to get referrals, support, and a few other questions, or some friends in business. Because if you are coming to get, then you're not going to actually you're not going to be able to come to Elite 6, not even for a free trial, because we've really got to adopt the attitude that we're actually coming there to help others. So we're looking for people who want to help rather than people who want to get. The getting does come, but it shouldn't be the goal. So if you come along with a handful of business cards and handed them out at one of my meetings, people would take them out of politeness, but you'd probably get home like I did when I first went along to business networking, and went home and wondered why the phone didn't ring. And went back the following week, and once again, the phone didn't ring. So I realised pretty quickly that you really got to come up with ways to build those relationships. And the goal really should be that you're trying to be a better version of yourself. And by talking to other people when you have a problem in business and they explain what they did to overcome that obstacle, will help you become a better person. So I tell people to put their business cards away. And often people say to me, hey Danny, how many people are going to be there? And I'd love to be able to say, 35 are in total demand, and we've got people queuing up to come along, and you're really privileged. But often my reply to that is, just you and me. And they go, just the two of us? And I go, yep, that's right. And I wait. And they go, oh, right. And I said, I talk to 300 or 400 people a week, and so do the other people that go. So please don't judge us by the number of people that you meet, or the connections that these people have. And that's really, really important attitude to have. So most of our groups have 15 to 25 people, because the conventional business networking groups normally have one person from each industry in each group. When I've been building these groups, the things that limit our growth and limit the quality of our meetings is the fact that if we get what I call bad eggs, maybe a bad real estate agent or a bad accountant and I shouldn't say bad, but if they're not very good at networking or they're not really people persons, then the whole group is limited. Nor maybe because they've got so many commitments coming along weekly, they're not prepared to do that. So about a year ago, when this was recorded, I did away with being industry based, which means that we can have 2 accountants, 2 lawyers, 2 mortgage brokers, and people that were loyal to us. I said, look, I'm going to introduce a new membership. It's going to be called Elite 6 Gold, and it's an additional $30 a month. And if you want to hog your industry, then you can pay that, and we won't double up in your industry. And no one took that up. Either they don't want to pay, or they didn't see the value in it. And I'll explain more of that later. So that's been a really, really good thing. So basically, because I removed the industries from the groups, that means people can now visit other groups. So we made it a little bit of a rule, but basically as long as you visit your home group once a month, I'll say that again, as long as you visit your home group regularly, you can also visit other groups. So we've got 8 groups at the moment. So if a member goes to their home group on a Tuesday, they can say, hey Dan, is it okay if I go visit such and such group on a Wednesday? And as well as that, we have a think tank meeting that's held on a Friday, and this is how we found out it worked. And the 8 groups that we have can combine as one group, and I run a think tank meeting. So for example, a topic that we've got this week is creating financial freedom. So most people that are in business want to have financial freedom, and they want to have a business they own that doesn't own them. So we'll have an open discussion at that meeting, and because we'd get 2 or 3 mortgage brokers in the same room, they actually really do want to meet each other. And I personally don't have any competition, because I believe you just do what you do well, and people will use your services. There's no trickery, and you have to use the real estate agent or you have to use the mortgage broker in your group. In fact, I tell people I want you to recommend the best person for the job, because it's not what you know, it's who you know in business. Wouldn't you agree? Right, so what else? With Elite 6, I'm very proud of the website. I've been a website developer for over 20 plus years. And what we do is we provide a place where people can actually log in and they can post blogs. So currently our Elite 6 website has about 300 blogs, which is great. Not only does it help our shoots rankings, it also shows that we have a personality with the people that post. So I'm just going to, on the homepage of our website, I wanted to read a couple of blogs that have been posted in the last month. 5 tips on how to be a good business networker. Oh no, not again. Why does that always happen to me? So Debs has wrote that. She is a business coach. Then you've got Sahira Lang. She writes articles for Stuff. Personal training on the brain. So these are often good reads that people have done. Rob Woolley has wrote a blog for us, Smelling the Roses Takes Time. Matt James, It's Not Me, It's You, Avoiding Bad Conflict in Relationships. And these are all blogs. Even I wrote one a wee while ago, 15 Days with No Mobile Data. And that just experiences good value. Our members contribute those to us, and then we share them around our social media. So that's kind of work. So if you are working home alone and you're trying to work out how to do your GSTs, or you're trying to work out how to get your head around Xero, then by coming along to the meetings, you can ask people questions that normally you would have to pay money for. So we don't use and abuse trades and services in Elite 6, but we have the privilege of being able to come along and to be a lawyer sitting there. And you don't have to say, oh, can I have a cup of tea with you and ask you a few questions and pick your brains. They will often just give you the advice that you're looking for, because they want to help. So if you really want to be good at business networking, I believe that you need to apply 5 things. And at each Elite 6 meeting, each week, I don't make, but I kind of do, make people read these 5 things. So this is what the secrets to being good at business networking is, these 5 things. When you come along, I want you to support other members by listening, sharing your experience and your knowledge and skills. And what that means is don't let people go down the same road that you did and find out it didn't work. So people can fast track a lot of things that go on. The other one is build professional relationships, friendships, and synergies with other members. So what that really means is I tell people that it's probably not the best experience, but I had my cell phone in my hand and I got pulled up by a policeman, and because had my cell phone in my hand, and it would be fair to say that I had a relationship with that policeman at that point. And then I noticed he had a Garmin watch on, and I said, "Oh, do you like your Garmin watch?" And he goes, "Yes, no, I do, I love it." And I said, "Oh, here's the latest one." I showed him the watch, and he was quite intrigued by that. And he goes, "Oh, it's really good." And I said, "Oh, whereabouts did you get that from?" He asked me, and I said, "Oh, I've got a friend on Papanui Road who sells Garmin devices." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I know the guy." And he said, "Hey, look, I'll let you off with the ticket today. Stay off your phone and be a good boy." And I said, "Yes." I said, "Thank you very much." And he just gave me a warning instead of a ticket. So there was an example where a relationship, friendships take longer, they take time, but they're stronger. And it can get you out of a ticket if you're being naughty and you're on your phone like I was. The other one is connect the right person with the right opportunity by giving quality recommendations. So some business networking companies are really frown on you if you don't refer the person in the room. You'll never ever get that from Elite 6. I don't care if you're sitting right beside a mortgage broker and you refer a friend of yours that's a mortgage broker, because that's how it works. And it's nice to be able to refer people you know well. So there's no expectations. But I do say to people that when I refer people, I don't just do it willy-nilly. I have a lot of thought. So I call myself a connector, and I'm always connecting the right person. And I'm thinking about, actually, you two people need to have a meeting, and I like introducing each other. And that's really important. So if you get a referral, look after it, treat them special. If you can't do it, those the best advertising words that you will ever hear is no. Don't do something, don't do everything, but pass it back to the person that gave it to you and said, "Look, it's not really my type of client or job. However, I'd recommend using them," or, pass it around and get the job done right. Number 4, participate in weekly meetings, collaborate together, and invite visitors along. So because we don't do a free trial anymore, you need to request an invite. So people often ask me, "How do I get to come along to Elite 6? I say, well, you go to the website and request an invite. The request an invite will actually ask them about 8 or 10 bits of information. And from my experience, if people aren't willing to spend the time giving us that information, they're in too much of a hurry, and they're not the right fit for us. But if you're building business networking into the structure of your company, and it's a longevity thing, as I said earlier on, our life expectancy used to be 3.5 months. It used to drive me crazy. I'd set them up a profile, put them in the billing system, give them the privilege of being able to pay on a monthly basis instead of all at once. There's no fixed contracts, and then I would pay somebody for the referral if we got it from somebody, and then after 3.5 months they would be leaving. And I thought, this is crazy. So we're looking for people that understand how business network isn't a hurry. It really does work. And the 5th thing I tell people to do, bring a smile, a sense of humour, and a little bit of love to our meetings. So I love bringing in the love word, and that's really important, because what we're talking about is when people are going through hard times in business, it's not easy. A good example of that this morning was a lawyer, well, ex-lawyer actually. He had a business, he had about 15 staff members, and it got out of hand. He actually went into receivership. He started up his own practice now. He works in he's an employment advocate, and he helps people. And he said, but what's coming over his desk at the moment is that people, middle-aged men, are really struggling with change and things that are happening in their life. And he said it actually puts a toll on his mind when he goes home at night. He said he finds it hard switching off, because he said he's quite empathetic. And he said, but he said a lot of his lawyers, are a high suicide rate, And the reason why he was saying that is he said it because it is quite draining, and he's finding it a wee bit difficult managing that sort of stuff. So you would expect when you went along to a business networking group that a lawyer, especially a lawyer or an employment advocate, would basically be there to tell people how wonderful he is and why you should use its services, but not at Elite 6, because we come there and we really support each other in business, which means we provide a support for people who want to be able to talk to others at business networking. So we get a lot of new people. Our drop-off rate is nothing like it used to be. I've got 120 members currently, and I'm just looking at my iPad down here. And I'll give you an idea of the different types of people that we've got coming along. I've got a brand new member called Bluestone Media. Now, he said to us that he used to be, he was brought up in Christchurch. At 11, his parents went over to Melbourne, and he's just come back to his hometown, and now he's looking to start up a business, and he's called himself Bluestone Media. He's got a lot of knowledge from working in Melbourne, and now he wants to start up his own company. So he's come along just to get known in the community and see what connections he can perform. We've got an immigration lady who trains other immigration people. So part of her recommendation is for her to get her students to get involved in business networking, which is a real nice thing. Different types of people. We do get quite a few real estate agents. Personally, I have a criteria for real estate agents. They must be over 40 or they must have sold at least 10 houses, because there was some companies that were just running their recruits through business networking, and then 6 months later they didn't make the grade as a real estate agent and moved on. I got sick of seeing them come and go. So my goal now as a business networking company is to have one person from all the brands. So rather than one dominating, so I've got a good, I try to find key person. So one that comes to mind is Mike Pero, Monty. He owns, I think, I might be wrong, but 3 Mike Pero franchises, and he's got 7 or 8 staff, and Monty comes along, and they're the type of agents I really do like. No offence to just a real estate agent, but I try to get key people in real estate companies rather than just bums on seats. We've got architects, we've got lawyers who specialise in immigration, employment, terms and conditions. We've got lots of IT companies. We've got companies which are very clever at setting up Linux and Unix. We've got quite a few accountants. We've got one lady that comes to mind who does documentation, a lady who teaches maths. And so let's use the maths teacher as an example. So she trains people from all over New Zealand. She does it via Skype. She records the screen, and after the tuition, she actually gives the digital file to the person who has been has learnt, and they can watch the lesson over and over again if they want. And that's a fantastic little bit of setup that she's got. So you can imagine other people who may be looking to just build their business up in Christchurch having a meeting with that lady who actually works New Zealand wide via the internet. It could be, so that's a sort of experience, knowledge and skills other people will share. And in saying that one, there was another one that came to mind while I was talking. I'll come back to that. So we've got people who are looking to market their business. Nutritech, they sell deer velvet antler products. So they've used a lot of the marketeers in the company. They've also come up with some other ideas along the way of other products that they may want to sell. We've got Genius Co-working, and we also have Biz Dojo. Now these are companies that have people who work in a shared office space, and it's like networking on steroids. I personally have been working at Genius Co-working for about 3 years now, or maybe 2.5 years, and it is really like networking on steroids. Take 5 studios or media or films, I forget what he calls himself exactly. So he's a videographer. Now he's, so you might be talking to Pablo and you'll go, hey Pablo, and you might be thinking when you're new and you're coming along, and you might think, oh, Pablo wants me to hire him to do some videos. I like doing my own videos. Pablo has actually given me some tips on how to use the recording device I'm recording the video I'm on at the moment. And he gives that knowledge and experience free of charge. Now, Pablo knows nearly all the real estate agents in Christchurch, and Pablo was worried about how much he charges at one point. So the people in the group said, no, you stick at your guns, and some of the real estate agents will go along and they will say, oh, I can do it cheaper. But he said, no, these are my prices because I provide good service, get the job done well, and very efficient. And one of those particular people literally used somebody else's services and then found out that it was crap. And then Pablo got the phone call back saying, oh, can you come and fix up? We need this done urgently. And he did. And now he does a lot of that real estate agent's work. So the advice, like I like Pablo, for using Pablo as an example, because he's well connected and he knows a lot of people. But if I were narrow-minded and I met him at a business networking event and I thought, oh, he's looking for work, Pablo is a guy that's looking to share his experience and help others. And he's also very well connected. And he also likes skiing. So the other one we've got is, that I'm thinking about, cleaners. Now, a cleaning company, for example, he wants to use our services. He wants us to use his services to clean the carpets and the curtains. No, a cleaner company is coming along. He's looking for software to manage his business on. He's looking for accountants to give him advice on how he could set things up. He buys vehicles. So Sean, I'm thinking of, he comes along regularly to our think tank meetings. But he's got a lot of experience at pest control. So often people ask him how to get rid of ants and the like. So a picture framer, James, he comes along, he's picture framing in his office, and all of a sudden all these ants are falling from the ceiling to, and landing on the art that he's about to frame. So what does James do? Rings up Sean. Sean comes around with two guys. They spend 45 minutes here. They send him a bill for a measly $80. And I said, why did you only charge $80? He said, oh, no, that's all it took us. He said, but I need to come back because he needs to follow up. And he said, that's what he'll do, charge later on. And you learn so much about how businesses work. And it was affordable, and we got rid of our ants. But you can just ring up these people like they're friends, and they come around and help you along. Who else have we got here? We've got, caterers, stylists. We've got Jim, Giggle TV, and lots of lawyers. I mean, and when I say lots of lawyers, everyone specialises in their own field. So imagine if we did limit the amount of lawyers in Elite 6, we'd be missing out on people that specialise in immigration, or we'd be people who do contract law. We had one lawyer that was coming along that did specialise in musos, because he was a musician and he knew that copyright law is a problem, so he specialised in that type of law. So everyone has their own flavour. I don't believe there's ever any overlap. Property managers, we've got people that sell furniture, and I don't mean not just furniture, ergonomics, which are fantastic, electric desks that sit the stand and all that sort of stuff. We've got painters and decorators. We've got people that help people with EQC claims. One lady, one of our members had a house that I think they got paid out $30,000 to fix up the house, and it had been fixed. This lady went back, had a look at the house, and said no, it hasn't been fixed correctly. They finished up getting $280,000, and he could sell his house as his wearer's house. So that cash flow made a huge difference, opened up a wee business opportunity for the guy, and things like that, just because one of our members decided to go around there and have a look and give them some advice. We've got lots of insurance companies, which is really good. Those questions like, should I have AC Cover Plus or should I not? They explain those things in detail without trying to purge you for work. Computer fix-it guys, networking companies. So we've even got mechanics. Now, one day I was coming back from Rolleston. I went concentrating enough. I went on my cell phone, and my car has followed the leader, and a car had stopped dead in the middle of the road on a 100k road. The car in front of me drove around them. and I didn't see the person enough, and I sideswiped the guy at 100 kilometres an hour. Funny enough, it was a guy, he was really nice to me, but he'd come along to Elite 6 and he was a sign writer, and his quality of work wasn't up to speed, so I had to let him go, and that was the guy that I crashed into. I was quite upset. The whole thing was something else was going on in my life at the time. It was so nice to be able to ring up somebody I knew and said, oh, what should I do with my car? Went through the whole process, had the whole thing totally fixed in 2 weeks. And it was a 2-week-old $80,000 car. So yeah, so it was just nice having those people around. Yeah, so we've got lots of really, really good people, but the biggest trick, there's lots of tricks to business networking, and never assume who you're talking to. If you think you can come along and be cunning as a weasel, and you can just come for a month, hand out your business cards, it just doesn't work that way. I had a guy that come along. He got 5 bits of work within the first 6 weeks, and then he left, and he probably thought that was what business networking is about. So what I say to people: don't bother coming. I don't even want you coming and not doing a trial. Well, I don't do trials, but requesting an invite if you're not prepared to come along and do the long yard. So. I remember a lady turned up at one of my meetings just 2 weeks ago. She had just been to, we have BNI, which is Business International. It's the biggest business networking group here in the world, I think. And New Zealand, there's about 20 different, they call them chapters. And she'd been along to a meeting and there was 20 people there. She came along to an Elite 6 meeting. And when she turned up at 20 past or 25 past 9, there was only 2 people there. And she said, is this it? And I said, yeah, it's just the 2 of us. And then everyone turned up. There's only about 8 or 9 people there. And she said, I absolutely love what you've got to offer here. She said, I've got to know these 8 people so well just in my first meeting. So she joined on the day. So it's a different flavour of business networking. The thing I've been trying to get people out of for so long is to get their mindset away from coming to get, and take time, listen to people, ask them questions. There's a lot of it's a real business family. And yeah, okay, if you want to count people, 120 people wrapped around your business, helping you succeed, because being in business is really, really hard work. So bear that in mind. If you're going to come along to Elite 6, you're more than welcome to come along. We give far too much value. This is how I make my living, and I love what I do. Originally, I did purchase it as a company to franchise, and that was my mission. I now run all the meetings bar one meeting myself. So it's been really cool. Alrighty, so that was my clever, what do you call those things? Gimbal. I've got this new gimbal thing, just turned itself off because I thought I'd record the show. I record this in my bedroom, so if you want to go to YouTube and search for Elite 6, you'll see that Danny just did a recording, and you can listen to that. Alright, so I'm waffling on, not saying much stuff of interest. I might cut some of this out. Thank you for listening to me. Come and have a go at networking. You won't look back. I've been doing it for 7 years and I love it so much I bought the company.